Hi friends, welcome back. Today is an exciting project. They're all exciting, but today this one is magical. We're making the disappearing image project. Let's get started. I'm gonna put mine to the side and you're gonna see how we're gonna make that together. First, what you need is your kit, but let me show you the other things you're gonna need today. Things that you need to bring. You, of course, will need a scissors today. You are going to need the double stick tape you have from the other day. And we did ask you to bring your own markers. Now, I'm going to hold this one separate because this is our Sharpie or permanent marker. Whatever you can find in your house is good. This one you can see has a very pointy tip, and that can be helpful. But whatever permanent pen you have, and whatever markers you want to use for coloring. Now you can see I'm using fall colors today, some yellows, I have greens and brown. I wonder what we're gonna color. Oh, there's my orange. You'll see as we get along. I'm gonna put my pens to the side. Let's look at the pieces in our kit. Now I'm gonna pull them out gently because it is a lot of paper, and I do want to treat that carefully. Because even though it's thick paper, it's still paper and I want to be careful with it. We have 6 pieces of paper here in your kit. I'm going to open this one up gently and take them out, and let's look at all 6. The first and biggest piece we are calling our magic frame piece. Magic frame piece, and you can see it is the biggest one that we have. So that's 1. 2, here's our smallest piece. You can see it's a rectangle. You'll notice it has a fold down the middle and that there is 2 pieces of double stick tape on it. We're gonna leave that there. We're just looking at our pieces right now. So here's piece number 2, our smallest piece. Piece number 3, ooh, this is really cool. Listen to this. Can you hear that? That's called vellum paper. Vellum paper is very special paper because look, you can see through it. So you have a rectangle of vellum paper. That's your 3rd piece of paper. Your 4th piece of paper is a longer rectangle, but you can see it has a piece of tape on it down one of the sides. So we're going to be calling this the piece of paper that has a long tape on it. It doesn't look like any other paper we have because this is the only one that has a long tape on it. So that is piece number 4. And look at 5 and 6. 5 and 6 are 2 fall pictures that we've included in your kit. Now the cool thing about today is we are going to decide which one we're going to use. But right now, I'm going to put those to the side. And I'm going to start off putting them to the side with my biggest paper, right? My magic frame. So the first thing I want to do, just to make sure, depending on how you got it in your kit, I just want to make sure it's folded. So all that means is if it's in a big rectangle, I'm just folding it in half. I'm matching my corners together. All of these words and this dotted rectangle are going to be on the inside. And I'm just going to press that fold down just to make sure it's like a little card that it's folded in half. Now I'm going to open it up again. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out along this dotted line. I'm going to cut this, and that's why I'm calling it a magic frame, because a frame is something that goes around usually a picture or just something else, kind of like the edges on a screen. We're going to cut out this frame. So go ahead and get your handy dandy scissors. Now for some of you, it's that whole thing where, right, I don't want to cut my paper across this way. I only want to cut in here. And it's okay. All I'm going to do is bend my paper a little bit. I'm not going to fold it, but I do want to bend it so that I can just give it a clip. And all I want to do is clip that hole right there so I can stick my scissors in. See that? And I might give it another snip there. And all I'm doing is making a place for my scissors to move around. So I'm going to clip very carefully just so that my scissors comes to this dotted line. And now I can cut along the dotted line and not cut any of my frame. So go ahead and use your scissors and let's cut around that dotted line. All right, I went all the way around my dotted line. So now I've made a frame. I have a hole in the top of my frame. Put that on the side for my garbage. And now I'm looking at my whole magic frame and I'm going to leave it open. The next piece I'm going to grab is that special piece with the long strip of tape. Remember that one? It's the only one that's shaped like a rectangle and has a long strip of tape right here. Now we get to look at the words on our magic frame. And look what it says right here. Tape, stick, blank paper here. This is my long piece of tape and my blank paper. But before I peel off that tape, I know some of you tried to, I'm just going to fit it, meaning I'm just going to make a practice placement here on my magic frame just so that I know exactly where I'm going to put this. So I'm just going to pretend. Whoop, I'm pretending to take that off. I know that this tape is going to stick right here, but watch where I'm going to put it. I am matching the edge of my card here, right, is where my tape's going to go, but look where I'm putting it up here. I want to make sure it's right underneath these words and numbers. And these words and numbers are just telling us how big our magic frame paper is, but what I'm going to use it for right now is to know where I'm going to put that paper that has the tape on it, right underneath those words and numbers. Right? So now I know exactly where it's going to go. This was my practice. But now, remember, I didn't take off that paper. So now that I practiced, I can do it for real. I have my paper, there's my tape. I'm going to peel off the paper. Peel off my paper off my tape. And again, I'm so glad I practiced because now I know exactly where I'm going to put it. I'm going to line up these edges. First, I'm going to put that right underneath the words. Make sure my edge is matched up. And then I'm very gently going to press it down, right? Because here's my tape. See that? And then this is where my tape is. So now here's my magic frame. Next piece. Before I do anything more, I'm going to go back and get my handy dandy tape. Because look what it says down here. Tape, tape, and that's where I'm going to put it. So I'm going to get my handy dandy double stick tape, and just like we've said before, if you want to measure it out and cut it with a scissor, you can. If you just want to tape it down and tear it off, because it's very easy to tear, you can. So I'm going to lay my tape right here, and I'm going to go all the way across the bottom. I know I'm putting it in the right place because I'm actually covering that word that said tape. But I want to keep it inside my magic frame, so maybe I'm going to just clip it right here. I'm pressing that down, covered that word tape, and I'm going to peel off that paper to expose the sticky side. And you guessed it, I'm now going to close my magic frame. I'm going to press it down here because that's where my tape is, right? And there you go. Oh my goodness, it doesn't make sense. Exactly, that's why we're still going to do other things. But just to show you, right? There's that piece of paper you taped in under the words and numbers. Here's that magic frame you cut out. Let's put this on the side. We're going to come back to it because now we're going to work on our magic image. And right now, it is just an image that you are going to choose. So right now, I just want you to choose. Which one are you going to use today? I'm going to do the Halloween pumpkin. So when you've made your choice, first thing I'm going to do, a lot of you have already noticed this, right? What did that dotted line tell us the first time? That we're going to cut it out. So pick your favorite picture, and now we are going to cut out those right along the dotted line. So we're going to cut it out. Right, I cut out the picture I chose, and now you can see why I chose those wonderful fall colors, because they're going to go perfectly with the picture I'm going to color for mine. Now, I think today, right, I'm going to do some oranges in here. I'm going to add some green. I have other colors I can put in. This would be a great time for you to grab your markers, your colored markers, and you color whichever picture you chose. Make sure you cut it out first on the dotted line. You can pause right now with the video, take some time to color in your picture, and then come on back. Now that we've finished coloring the picture that we chose, the next piece that we're going to get is that special piece of paper that we call vellum. Now notice when I take that special piece of vellum and put it on top of my picture, I can see right through it. And that's what I want to have happen. So I'm just going to place it there so that I know I can match up my vellum right over the picture I colored. And I'm going to grab my very last piece, my smallest piece, the one that has a fold and 2 pieces of tape. Now just so you know where we're going to put it, right? We're going to practice again just like we did before. Using this piece, after we take off the paper from our tape, what we're going to do is we're going to be taking, remember I'm just practicing, we're going to be taking our vellum on top of our picture and placing it right into the middle of that fold. And then we're going to close it up like that. So look, it's like a little handle on my picture. So this was my practice. Now I know where it's going to go. So
Pause. I'm going to tell them to.
So that was our practice, and now we're going to use this piece to make that handle for real. So my vellum is over my picture. I'm going to open up my smallest piece and find those 2 pieces of paper to peel off of my double stick tape. Oops, might be easier to peel from this side. There's one. And I'm going to pull off the second one. And just like I practiced, I'm going to put it down. I'm going to carefully pick up my vellum on top of the drawing I made that I colored, and I'm going to put it into right inside the fold there, and I'm going to close up my smallest paper and press it down. And just pressing on one side is, look at that, going to make it stick to both of my papers. See that? So this is what you want it to be. You want it to look like almost like a little book. All right, now Let's make the magic happen. Let's go ahead and grab our magic frame again. Oh, right, sorry. Backing it up. So now we are going to take our Sharpie, we're going to get that permanent pen, and what I'm going to trace over or mark are all of the black lines that came in my drawing. So what that means is, here's the outline of my pumpkin, so I'm going to follow that line if my Sharpie worked. All right, so now we have our handle on our vellum paper and our picture in that nice little piece. I've got my Sharpie. Now go ahead and grab your permanent pen, and what we are going to do is we are going to trace or follow the black lines we see in our picture. Now here's the cool part. You can do as much or as little tracing as you want. You can cover as many lines or as few lines as you want, and I'll show you what that means. So here's my whole picture. I can see it. I'm using my Sharpie to trace the lines, and I think I'm going to trace over my big pumpkin, making sure I'm finding the lines that belong to my big pumpkin. That big smile, the eyes on my pumpkin. Can you see that? So I'm finding just the parts of my big pumpkin to color in. I want to make sure that I'm coloring in my pumpkin's eyes, the nose, I got the smile. Oh, you know what? I want to put in these wonderful pumpkin lines that show everyone just how chunky this pumpkin is. It is big, ready to be picked. I'm going to trace the stem on my pumpkin. So I'm just looking for those black lines that went with my pumpkin picture. I'm following this vine, but watch what I'm going to do here. I'm going to draw this one vine here, and I'm just going to trace this one leaf. Only one leaf. I wonder what that's going to do. I think I want to trace some grass. I'm only going to trace the grass that is near my big pumpkin. That means I'm only going to trace grass that is right here and touching my pumpkin. I'm going to stop right there. I like the way that looks. Now, let's go grab our magic frame. I'm putting my pen down. I'm going to get my magic frame, right? Remember that piece? And remember how we worked very hard to make that piece with the long tape inside of our magic frame card. Right there. There's that piece, right? Now, I'm going to keep looking in here. I want to make sure I see one side where the frame is and the other side, which is in the back side of that card. And I'm going to pick up my piece, remember, with its two sides. I'm going to slip the vellum paper right underneath my frame. See how I can see it right there? But I'm going to take my colored picture and I'm going to slide it on the other side of that paper that's in the middle. Oops. So let me find those two pieces again so you can see. And I'm going to slide my vellum in front of that piece of paper and my drawing behind that piece of paper, just like that. Now take your time to do that, because here's my picture and here's my magic. Look at that. All you would know is Ms. Malia drew a pumpkin. But there's a second pumpkin behind my pumpkin, And another leaf there too. What? That pumpkin disappeared. Oh no. There it is. Et voila, look at that. The last piece, I know you just want to keep doing that over and over, right? But before you start showing yourself that magic again, before you start showing other people that magic, there's one last piece. Down here, these words say magic presented by... People want to know who is showing this magic. Who's presenting this magic? Well, you better let them know. Grab one of your markers, and you're going to say, magic presented by... Well, today it is presented by Miss Malia and her good friend, Miss Jenny.
Hi.
Who always brings the magic. There you go, friends. Be a magician this fall. Oh, there's a pumpkin back there. If you want to take a picture of what you've made, whether you chose the magic pumpkin or whether you drew that beautiful, colorful sunflower. Oh, look, there's a magic leaf in that one too, on the second flower. Wow, people won't believe their eyes. They're going to say, why are you showing me these line drawings? And you'll say, happy fall, because I'm magic. Thank you so much, friends, for your magic with us today and for all of your hard work. We will see you next time.